Yeah, there are a lot of self-help books out there, but this is the only one that'll actually really help you. Okay? All these self-help books like, oh, do you have this problem, you have that problem? Well, you know what? When you know how to beat up anybody, you don't have problems because you're a winner.
Has anyone seen any martial arts films before? Jackie Chan films, maybe? Jason Statham, Jean-Claude Van Damme? Okay. There's a reason I've never started a movie with them. And that's because, one, they're afraid of me. And two, movies are filmed at 24 frames per second. But when I do karate, I move much faster than that. So you would actually never be able to see me on film. But this book, all the photographs in this book were taken from a camera from the future, which films at over 1 million frames per second.
I wrote a book. It's called How to Beat Up Anybody. It's the greatest book in karate history. It's 208 pages. I teach you how to beat up Bigfoots, ninjas, you name it, dude. It's all in here. If you buy this book, you will be able to beat up anybody, even if the person you're fighting has also read the book. It's that good.
A lot of you are probably wondering if I am the world champion. Indeed I am. It's on a windbreaker, and that means it's official, okay? If you see someone wearing a world champion t-shirt or a hat, maybe it's a replica. These are only given out at the World Championships. This is me getting the World Championship trophy from the President of South America in 1998.
You know, the world champion stuff, it wasn't like one day I just came up with a gimmick, you know. It was like kind of a long, gradual thing, and I think it came from a few different areas. One, it came through crowd work with the audience, you know. I do a lot of pre-prepared jokes, and then I also make up a lot of jokes on the spot, and I interact with the audience a lot. And I noticed this years ago at the time, you know, so many comedians, all they'd try to go up on stage and sort of pretend like they're the audience's best friend and try to bond with them. I decided to take the opposite approach, act like I'm so much better than them. And, you know, as a kid, the other thing was, you know, I was always obsessed with the Guinness Book of World Records and breaking records. So I was always obsessed with athletic feats and athletic achievements. And I love sports and always played sports and still do. So I'm a big sports fan. And I've also always been into making my own art and arts and crafts and stuff. So, you know, over 15 years ago, I started making my own hats. And I always thought it was dumb to wear someone else's hat. Why don't I wear my own hat? So one time I thought it'd be funny to make a hat that said world champion, but not say of what, just to sort of, you know, confuse people. And then, and that was good because the hat would actually prompt questions from the audience, and I like interacting with the audience. So it was those kind of few areas that sort of led to the world champion stuff, and then and it keeps changing and it keeps growing, you know. And I don't do just world champion stuff. I'll talk, you know, off topic about other things too. Mad Magazine, like old National Lampoons from the 70s and stuff. Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely fans of those. And you know, this book, I wanted to have a low budget do-it-yourself feel to it, and that's pretty much how it was done. I worked with this guy Kurt Iverson who does my website on some of the design stuff, and we basically just did it all ourselves. So it was a lot of hard work. It was the hardest and longest I've ever worked on a project, and but yeah, it was worth it. It was good.
Here I teach you, this is an early chapter, how to create instant male pattern baldness with one punch. You see the man on the left with a full head of hair, I punch him on the nose, that hairline goes right back. They don't teach this in karate schools, okay? This is the real deal.
Stand-up is always number one for me. Always number one is stand-up. Comedically, that's home base for me. Everything else is secondary, whether it's TV, movies, whatever. I've gotten a lot more attention and, you know, FaceTime on TV acting and film acting than I have stand-up wise, even though I do stand-up more than anything else. I do stand-up, you know, live in shows all over the country all the time, almost every night. But I'm on TV acting more than I am doing stand-up. But I'm working on changing that.
You pathetic clown! You met with me because your life is miserable, because you're disgusting! What?
Nothing, just you're yelling at me, you're a mess, you're chopping down tequila. It's kind of working for me.
Oh, are you turned on right now? What is wrong with you?
When I do a movie, I like to do something completely different. And I also like to work with filmmakers that are trying to do something different. You know, a lot of independent movies now have become just low-budget versions of generic Hollywood movies. They're not true independent movies where they're actually trying to do something different with film. They're just doing the same old crap Hollywood's doing, but on a lower budget. I'm not interested in that. And on an acting-wise, I like playing roles that are completely different. I don't want to do a role that's exactly like what I do on 30 Rock. I want to do something totally different. And one thing that's fun about that is you kind of get to take a vacation from yourself. You get to become someone else for a while. So give you a mental break. It's almost like forget your problems. Let's figure out your new fake person's problems and deal with those. And in general, I think I like doing independent movies more just because they film faster. You know, a Hollywood movie will take 3.5 months to film. An independent film will take a month. So it's kind of more action, less waiting around. Yeah, but yeah, all the photos I took myself, or I had friends of mine do it and I directed it. This photo on the cover I actually took myself. The book editor, for real, the book editor calls me up and says, "Oh, we need the cover photo." I'm like, "What?" She's like, "Yeah, we need it. This is, 8 months before the book comes out." I'm like, "When do you need it?" She's like, "If you can get it in the next 30 minutes, that'd be great." I'm like, "You're kidding me. You want me to do the cover for the book on 30 minutes notice?" And I'm like, "Is this just for like a mock-up of the cover?" And she's like, "Yeah." But then they printed it, so it's actually the real cover. So this is, I put the camera on a tripod, I went down to my driveway. There's snow all over the ground. It's about 40 degrees. And I did a bunch of photos with me punching towards the camera. And, I had the camera on the timer. So yeah, this was actually taken myself, no photographer.
Oh, I used to be an elementary school crossing guard. A lot of kids died that week. I'd be like, "Oh yeah, you can make it. Oh fuck. Oh shit. That truck really picks up speed coming down here. I better take this uniform off and get the fuck out of here. Hope nobody saw that shit." Another kid came up to me, he's like, "Hey, the light's red. Is it safe to cross?" I'm like, "Yeah, dude. Red, green, yellow, whatever. You gonna let some blinking lamp on the street dictate how you run your little life?"
A lot of times when I have done stand-up on TV, I don't like how they censor me. I don't like how they film it. I don't like the generic, they usually film on these big stages with the generic audiences. It's usually at 5 p.m. during the day. And then they'll also not just censor me, they'll also re-edit the set. And they sometimes will switch my words around where I actually said something I never said. They just mess with it, and it just makes it worse, So I'm actually working now on making my own movie, world champion stand-up movie. It'll be a concert film. And I'm just going to do stuff myself, Power of the internet, man. Just do it yourself.
You want to be treated like an adult? Start acting like one. That kid died too. You win some, you lose some.
Never study karate at a karate school. Okay? Learn from this book. This book was filmed on the streets. That's where fights happen. Not in nice air-conditioned karate schools. On the streets. What's up? It's Judah Friedlander, the world champion, and you're watching Reelblack. Why? Because you're a winner.